So every position has advantages and disadvantages. And so I'll say this one other point and then I'll move to my next point, which is this. Every position on the board has an advantage, right? If you have nothing to lose, then you have nothing to lose. If you're like, I have nothing, it means you have nothing to lose. I don't know how to say that differently. And see, the idea that you are in the position where you can literally take endless, unlimited lottery tickets from life, which means you try and you try and you try and you try because your downside is zero. You have nothing to lose. And so fear comes from having something to lose. And so in order to be fearless, we have to come to the realization that nothing in this world belonged to you to begin with. Like, we're just passers-by. Even if you accumulate whatever assets you think you are, you just push your chips back at the end of the game anyways. And so it's just the game. And so you're somebody who has no chips, but the one thing that's different about poker versus real life is that the chips you get replenished every day with the minutes of time that you have. And so you could run out of chips, but you still have time. Now, if you run out of chips in the real life, out of coins, right? Game over. But until that day, you can play every day. And I think that when you have a capped downside and uncapped upside, that is the recipe for opportunity. Which brings me to the next point, which is that entrepreneurship is one of the greatest vehicles of personal development because it forces you to confront every weakness that you've been avoiding. The market, your customers, your competitors won't let you hide from yourself. And 10 out of 10 times, the person limiting the business, limiting your growth, is you. Real, right? Like entrepreneurship. Like, the reason that I'm such a fan of this and why I talk about it so much for people who are, in the game or not in the game is that the amount I've grown as an entrepreneur versus when I was not an entrepreneur, it pales in comparison because people want to protect your feelings, your friends, your family. They don't want you to feel bad. The market does not care. And if you want truth, the market will give you the truth. And as long as you can humble yourself and listen to the market, it will tell you where you suck. If I made content that no one liked, I would have to change, right? I'd have to change what I was doing. And if you make products that no one wants to buy, you have to change what you're doing. If when you get in front of somebody and no one wants to buy, you have to change what you're saying, period. But if you go and do that in front of your mom, she's gonna be like, great job, Timmy. It was really good, great job. So it just fluffs you, it's not real. And so I think that over time, what happens is people end up optimizing towards reality, truth. And I think entrepreneurship is one of the best vehicles for that. So one of the next issues is that most people think the hard part is getting started, but the hard part is continuing to do the work when the excitement wears off and the grind, the repetitions, the volume without variety